The first of the new dragons to focus on is the primal adamantine dragon. Belonging to the sky metal dragons, these powerfully built beasts are able to draw metals onto their bodies to form thick armoured scales, and as they age, these tough scales grow into thick adamantine plates. These dragons are excellent at carving tunnels in the faces of mountains and canyons to make their lairs, which are littered with gems and precious metals that they find along the way. Their signature breath weapon is the avalanche breath, in which they belch forth a mass of boulders that crush their enemies. If this doesn't work, they can quickly burrow around their caverns and use their immense size and strength to crush and impale with their huge claws and horns. The next dragon on our list is the conspirator dragon. These cunning and stealthy dragons are able to create flesh suits to look like any person they've seen. This allows them to blend seamlessly into society and even doesn't register on detect magic or other similar spells. If they are ever discovered, they can explode out of their disguise, causing damage and chaos to those nearby. This gives them ample opportunity to use their poisonous smoke breath to make a clean getaway. Masters of subterfuge, they collect plans and secrets they can use to further their schemes, and as many of them live in settlements, they have been known to utilize basements, cellars, and even bank vaults to store their treasures. Straight out of hell itself, these are the diabolical dragons. Diabolic dragons are a frightening foe in combat. Made from the stuff of pure hell itself, they strive to further hell's will in whichever ways they can. The signature breath weapon is Hellfire, which not only burns flesh, it scorches the victim's soul too. They are completely immune to other kinds of fire, and can see through smoke clear as day. A diabolic dragon's hoard is made up of soul gems, which are magically created to house the souls of mortals in infernal contracts. Some of these they pass on to others in hell, but they keep the most interesting souls for themselves. Up next is my favourite group, the Fortune Dragons. Fortune Dragons have the innate ability to absorb the magical energies around them. They can use this energy to power up their spells, and can even use it to heal wounds. A lot of Fortune Dragons carry their treasures on their body. Their abilities cause coins, gems and magical items to stick to them like a magnet, where they can draw upon the magical energies where needed. When in battle, they shake themselves violently, sending piles of coins, swords and other metal pieces flying at their foes. A Fortune Dragon's breath weapon is Disruptive Breath. The spray disrupts all magic in front of it, and a concussive blast can leave foes stupefied. The lairs of Fortune Dragons are littered with worthless trinkets and relics, most of which have had their magical energies drained long ago. The Fortune Dragons will defend their hoards from anyone, regardless of their standing. Divine and Heavenly, these are the Imperial Dragons. Connected to the plane of heaven, Imperial Dragons are patient, compassionate, and wise compared to other types of dragon, and make great efforts to protect others from evil. Their breath weapon is a blast of holy fire that burns the wicked and diabolic on contact, scorching them with pure benevolence. Their divine aura is inspiring to allies around them, motivating them in battle. They can even deploy their halo to inspire others further away from them and recall it from any distance. When Imperial Dragons make lairs on the mortal plane, they make them easier for others to seek out in times of need, and keep their lairs well stocked with weapons to fight against evil. For this video, let's look at the immense dragon turtles. Dragon turtles are a large species of aquatic dragon with huge powerful flippers and a dense shell like their namesake. The huge bulk allows them to easily sink even the highest of ships, giving them a fearsome reputation from sailors, which they relish. Some dragon turtles can grow so massive that the shells can be mistaken for floating islands. Some stay dormant on the surface long enough to establish whole ecosystems on their backs. Even settlements sometimes spring up, blissfully unaware that the ground beneath them is alive. Their hoards consist mainly of treasure from the ships they sink, though they covet willing tributes from seafaring town cities the most, even protecting these places from pirates and other ocean monsters. Today's monster is the classic regenerating troll. Trolls are large humanoids distantly related to giants, and can be found all over the world in a wide variety of forms, from the stone troll to the common forest troll. Their key ability is regeneration, meaning that their flesh constantly regrows over time. This allows trolls to quickly heal from wounds and even regrow entire limbs if one is removed. The unfortunate side effect is this leaves the trolls constantly hungry and causes them constant pain. They may need to prune extra limbs if they happen to grow out of control. Some smarter trolls have taken up jobs as fortune tellers, slicing open their own stomachs to read the future from their innards. How accurate this is, however, remains to be seen. Though solitary by nature, occasionally a particularly powerful troll may command a small group as a war leader. This has a devastating impact on the ecosystem and the surrounding towns. For this video, let's talk about the basilisk. Basilisks are huge serpents that can grow up to 13 feet long and weigh up to 300 pounds. Their scales are coloured to suit their environment, ranging from vivid greens to dusty browns. Their signature ability is their petrifying stare that turns anything that meets their gaze to turn to stone, similar to a Medusa. Interestingly, ferrets and weasels are completely immune to these effects. After their prey has been petrified, they crush the stone corpses in their powerful jaws and slowly digest the pieces over a long period. This leaves the basilisk extremely lethargic and has led to the saying, "as slow as a well-fed basilisk." The cure for petrification, other than healing magic, is to coat the victim in basilisk blood no longer than an hour after the effect. Healers must be careful though, to not accidentally break or chip a piece off the corpse, otherwise that piece will be lost. In this video, we're unleashing the Kraken. Krakens are gargantuan-sized squid-like creatures that dwell in the deepest depths of the world's oceans, coming up to prey on ships, whales and anything else they can get their tentacles on. Despite their animalistic appearance, Kraken possess a cruel intellect, coveting scrolls, spellbooks and other tomes of ancient lore to gain an upper hand against their Ogolthu rivals. Kraken are also able to control the weather around them, making them an extreme threat to ships during combat, and weather growing fiercer with the Kraken's anger. When in trouble, they can unleash a cloud of poisonous ink around them, blinding and poisoning their foes, allowing the Kraken to ambush its prey or make a clean escape. They make their lairs near geothermal vents and undersea ruins where they can sift through the magical secrets they have plundered from sunken cities and ships alike. Let's take a look at the Lovecraftian Ogolthu. The Ogolthu, formerly known as aboleths, are large tentacled fish-like beings that dwell in the deep oceans of Galerion and have played a major part in its past. The leaders of the Ogolthu are known as the Vidalith or Veiled Masters. They are responsible for creating the Empire of Aslan and later calling down the Starstone to shatter the continent when the Aslanti grew too prideful. Despite being incredibly skilled in magic, one of their more remarkable abilities is the slime they create. This slime is able to produce physical changes in both the Ogolthu and their minions, altering their bodies to better suit their needs. The Ogolthu are still lurking in the deepest reaches of the oceans, using shape-changing minions to pull strings in the background, eliminating key figures and sowing discourse to influence present-day civilizations. In today's video, let's talk about them troublesome Tooth Fairies. Tooth Fairies are small winged fae with fleshy coloured skin and large black eyes. They spawn from children's teeth that have been buried in areas with a lot of fae energies. Once they have hatched out of the tooth like an egg, they will go on to make a crude set of pliers from whatever they can get their grubby little hands on. Lone Tooth Fairies may have some trouble extracting teeth from their generally unwilling victims due to their tiny size. However, they band together in swarms to restrain and strip their victims' mouths in seconds. Interestingly, Tooth Fairies have a deep fear of cats and will even flee away from the sight of small kittens. In some towns, it is accustomed to leave coins under their children's pillows to bribe the Tooth Fairies to leave them alone. However, this only sometimes works. Our next monster video focuses on the militaristic Hobgoblins. Hobgoblin society revolves around one thing: waging war. They are constantly trying to prove themselves in battle, with every Hobgoblin having their place in the military. Every member of Hobgoblin society pulls their weight and contributes. Those that fail to do so are culled and removed as dead weight to make the clans as strong as possible. Hobgoblins will rarely mingle and trade with other ancestries or even other groups of goblins, preferring instead to take what they need to survive by force. They generally distrust the use of magic, instead trusting in their innate skills in engineering and alchemy to help in their war effort. They will begrudgingly respect divine magic to help with healing. As their name suggests, they are related to goblins, however they are generally as tall as humans and have grey skin instead of green. As requested, this time we're researching facts about the monstrous Oni. Oni are a tall, incredibly strong, intimidating foe in combat with their bright skin, horns and fanged faces. Despite their brutal appearance, however, they have a surprising amount of cunning, being able to shapeshift and disguise themselves as other humanoids to better hide in plain sight. An odd fact about the Oni is that they have a fear of beans, especially as the seasons begin to change, and so throwing a handful of beans at them may cause an Oni to panic. Unfortunately, Oni are very sadistic and cruel by nature, and they will raid and brutalise settlements just for the fun of it, and have a particular taste for humanoid flesh. As the first of our undead monsters, let's start with the Revenant. Revenants are undead spirits that have risen from the dead to seek revenge for those who murdered them. Once risen, they are filled with a single-minded determination until their revenge has been fulfilled. A Revenant can let out a baleful shriek when they attack. Similar to a Banshee's wail, it can paralyse and strike fear into all that hear it. Interestingly, they will not attack anyone on sight unless they attack it, meaning that unless you are the Revenant's murderer, you can simply just get out of the way. The only thing that can alter a Revenant's path is its own reflection in a mirror, or some object from its past. This causes them an intense sense of self-loathing, and they will go out of their way to destroy it. For our first Fey creature, let's start with the bloodthirsty Redcap. Despite only standing 3 feet tall, these cruel and sadistic Fae revel in bloodletting. The name comes from the habit they have of dyeing their hats with the fresh blood of their victims. Another key item Redcups wear is their heavy iron boots, which make a distinctive clanging sound as they scurry about. These heavy boots also can prove fatal to anyone ambushed from above while hiding in trees, barns or sheds. Vicious and craven bullies, Redcaps are cowed by anything powerful than them and will shy away from symbols of deities as a result. Loathing the company of other creatures, they may be rarely seen in a small troop with other Redcaps, where they will share stories of the most brutal and bloody kills with each other. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more facts about the Pathfinder universe.